I'm standing in front of our Dianthus plantings in our overwintered tunnel. Just want to talk about a few of the different types that we have growing here. This first one right in front of me is part of the Sweet series. This is the white, and this is one that we've been really happy with in our overwintered tunnel. This whole series of all the colors of the Sweet series work well in a tunnel. We just have the white growing here in our tunnel, but this is one of the earliest things to bloom for us in the spring, or that we're able to consistently harvest off of. And so you can see the tall, sturdy stems. This plot has been blooming since the middle of April, and we've probably gotten 75 to 100 stems off of this planting. We have about 18 plants in this plot, and you can see we're still cutting off of here really nice kind of globe-shaped blooms that are easy to work into a bouquet, and again, really strong, sturdy stems. This is a really good early producer in a tunnel. All right, so I'm standing in front of one of the Amazon series or Amazon varieties of Dianthus, and these are a little bit later than the Sweet series. These are just about ready to start blooming, and it is June 4th here in central Maine in Zone 5. We found that the Amazon series also does really well in our tunnel. It's a nice Dianthus variety that can be paired with some of the later blooming crops in an overwintered tunnel. So this will be blooming alongside some of our Rudbeckia, the Ami, and Scabiosa that we'll have coming on soon. And then also, before it's blooming, you can see the height of these plants. They're really vigorous and lush. But before these bloom, this can also be used as some nice greenery to fill out early spring bouquets as well. So that, again, is just a really interesting textural piece to add to spring bouquets. So this can have a couple different purposes in a tunnel planting. I'm standing in front of our planting of Shobo Carnations, and the timing of these is similar to the Amazon series of Dianthus, and so they're a little bit later to bloom in our tunnel, but they have a really, we've had a lot of success with them. They survive the winters here really well, and you can see from the foliage here that they're very productive, and we'll have a lot of blooms coming off of these over the next couple of weeks. And in addition to the blooms that we'll be harvesting off of these, there's also the potential to use the stems as greenery in early spring bouquets. So you can see they're a really nice silvery green color. They have kind of a thin, willowy look to them. And again, alongside the Amazon series, it provides a nice contrast and some texture in bouquets. I'm standing here in front of our Dianthus planting in our overwintered tunnel, and these Chabot Carnation series are the last to bloom in our tunnel. You can see that they're just starting to open up here now, and this really beautiful pale pink variety in front of me is La France. We have a couple of other varieties in here as well. I have orange sherbet, which is this really beautiful tangerine and orange and red streaked one, and then this really delicate sweet yellow one is Marie. We just have these three varieties planted in this year's tunnel, but all of the Chabot series work really well in the overwintered tunnel. They're a little bit later to bloom, but this is actually a really nice time to have some additional blooms coming out of the tunnel right before our summer field crops are really kicking in. One of the things that I really love about these is how fragrant they are. They just smell fantastic and really sweet, almost clove-like, and a little spicy. The blooms are really full and layered and kind of ruffly. And then you can see the stems are sturdy and fairly straight, but they have a lot of kind of side branches coming off of them, and they can be kind of challenging to harvest. As with many of the crops that we've seen here in the tunnel, they tend to have a little bit more vigorous growth than we would see in the field. And so sometimes this makes containing them or supporting them a little bit more challenging, and it can make harvesting a little bit more challenging as well. So one thing that we've found is kind of helpful for this crop, at least in the tunnel, is once you've kind of picked through sort of the first flush of blooms out of here. We've actually found that just cutting away the Hort Nova entirely and sort of cutting through the second and cutting out the second flush of blooms just in sort of one big cut works nicely for harvesting these. Otherwise it seems to take a really long time to pull them out of the Hort Nova, and it's easy to snap off a lot of the side branches too. But again, these are a really beautiful late spring, early summer bloomer in the tunnel, and definitely something we would recommend. One other thing I just want to point out really quickly for the Dianthus is the Amazon neon Dianthus planting, which you can see it's that really bright neon purple blooms right behind me, and you can see how vigorous and bright those are. We've been harvesting off of those for a couple of weeks now, and we'll continue to harvest off of those too. And those are a really nice sort of intermediately timed bloom for the tunnel. Dianthus is a really nice crop for the tunnel, we found, because with the different series that are available, you can have blooms really early in the spring with the Sweet series. The Amazon series is really nice to follow with the Sweets, and then these really beautiful Shobo Carnations are great to kind of wrap up the spring tunnel slot.